Actually closer, like a lot
Oh,
closer.
well, because the states are a lot larger out here
Yeah, no,
than over there. So I'm thinking I'm closer to you here. Now, you're like the water, Tori.
It's like
all over there.
2-hour flight, yo.
I know, but it's like 2 hours, maybe 3 for me to get to Michigan from Phoenix. So I'm like, hey, I must be closer or the same, maybe.
I'm used to having to go to LA and it being like 6 hours.
I know. Oh yeah. I'm not in out. See, this is fun. We get to do all the catching up and do it live, and then I'll call it work. But
work.
Hey, look, we got a friend.
Hey. Yes.
Hey. Oh goodness, we're having trouble streaming at the other destination. That's fine. Every time I turn around, StreamYard is having a fight with some other streaming and some meta and some something or other. Like, then they pushed me to make that Tuesdays with Tori as a page rather than a profile so that I could just directly stream to it. And then I guess, I don't know, it's a lottery. They decide the people who get to stream live or not on my actual Facebook, like Tuesday Tori page they made me get. And I tried today. I don't win. I'm not allowed to stream there.
Weird.
Anyways, good morning, good day, good afternoon. It's a good day because it's Tuesday. I'm moving. So, in the spirit of always keeping this an authentic show where I'm a spaz and we learn things together, enjoy my sad bookshelf and my boxes and my wigged out dogs. But it's Tuesday, and this is Tuesdays with Tori, where I did 8 years in the lubricant sort of world, where I met my friend here, Cheryl Lynn, and then moved into condoms. And I was like thinking I was pretty woke. That's the word. I'm like, I at least know that condoms come in different materials because condom compatibility is a thing I talk about. Just kidding, right? It's the same, like you never know what you're going to know. So during kind of this 2 years that I've been in here, I've noticed there's so many topics in the adult retail sort of industry that just aren't being talked about enough. Especially kind of how some of these bigger, like, right, Trojan is Church and Dwight. They're, I think, at least a Fortune 250 company at this juncture. They run things completely different than a lot of our industries here, with the expectation of still the same end consumer. You know what I mean? So, because this is like me updating Cheryl too, right? Yeah. We're getting updated, but like kind of at the same time. So then, I did have another web stream, which I know I dragged you on before. So then, kind of having that experience, not thinking I'd ever done that, I just one day got on here, which now I'm lovingly calling the ether, right? The ether that is the internet. Be careful what you wish for, though. It's kind of a void, right?
Right.
It's powerful. You could do great things with it, but also very easy to fall into the darkness, right? But good news, the ether kind of brings me great people, right? Not just yourself, but other people have just kept coming to the table somehow for me without me even realizing it. Now to the point that I just got an XBiz nomination over in January for adult retail. I was like,
congratulations.
What? Which is great. But again, like, careful what you wish for. Because I'm like, okay, I have to do it. I have to do the content and the stuff. And so here I am. And then it's a real show. It's live. And this is just from our heads and our hearts, and things moved around as far as the schedule is concerned. And I was like, hey girl, are you free randomly on a Tuesday night to come just have an ether with my one woman rant that's kind of evolved into its own sentient whatever the show is going to be, so that I get to talk about what I wanted to talk about, but also I get to interview my friends and call it work, right? And hopefully someone's going to be inspired along the way. So I mean, thank you for coming. Thank you, lovely people, for listening. I'm going to give you the floor a minute. Like, I'll do my little diddly. Like, if you didn't know, now you know. Cheryl Lynn, longtime friend, powerhouse in adult retail, leader of the Arcadia Collective. # I'll put my banners up if I could figure out how to multitask someday. And now launching a new 501c3.
So I will stop you right there. I am actually the treasurer. I sit on the board for the Arcadia Collective.
That still makes you a leader.
Yeah, I guess.
What are you talking about? Let me correct you. Sorry, girlfriend. Open my look, it's my patriotic water. Hold, please. I said what I said. I wrote what I wrote. Okay. Just because you're on the board or treasury doesn't make you part of a leader in what you're doing. The fact that you are a part of this club still makes you part of what you're doing. And that's important. Like once you have space.
I wouldn't have been able to, like, I couldn't do this on my own. There's so many of us that like put it together, and there's no way. And I have a fearless leader, right? And that's our president, and actually like one of my best friends, and that's Jack Cat. And she started like this whole thing, and she was like, hey, I want to turn this into a nonprofit. Okay. And actually we ended up turning it into a 501c3. So that's our 501c3. Like we are 100%. That's a huge deal. Like we are 100%. Like,
I'm sorry, because I'm too excited, but maybe rewind. Like I got to remember where I like maybe explain what not only what you're doing with the Arcadia Collective, but for people that don't know, that are like constantly coming into this business or just trying to wrap business, what is a 501c3?
So a 501c3 means that you are tax exempt from federal taxes. Hey, and I mean, and you are now like, people can get tax write-offs for donating to your 501c3. It means that you are non-exempt. And that's a huge deal, right? Because hey, it's giving us money that we use to help people and to, hey, keep our lights on at our venue that we have. And
it makes your labor of love. You're able to pay people, right?
Exactly.
Not just, hey, thanks for volunteering. It can get to the point where you can also manage a payroll and
exactly.
It just all the benefits that come with having a business, not just a nonprofit business, right?
Right. And that's right now. And we are all volunteers. I am a volunteer board member. All of our, like, it's 100% of whatever money get donated to us goes right back into.
That's so awesome.
Into the company. Like, not many people can say that.
Yeah, I was like, I've not applied for one myself, but I've heard some interesting stories. So I'm assuming this was a huge feat to begin with. Like again, just because you're on the board and you might not be the presidente, it's just your leader.
I'm the one that did all the paperwork to get us approved for 501c3, and that thing is like 60 pages long.
Oh my God, I was gonna say, tell me about the paperwork.
It's
not like fun reading.
No, it's not fun reading. It's a lot of like taxes and filling things out, and it's like, oh, it's not just like starting an LLC, right? You got some paperwork to do and whatever.
Yeah, it's not like check the box of taxes you want us to take here. Like it's a little bit more complicated.
It is, and like I always tell people, like I'm really glad a friend of mine's an attorney. That was and also my cousin, like she does 501c3. She's like, I can help you, and I'm like, oh, thank God. So like all three of us sat and put our heads together, and we're like, okay, we're gonna do this, right? And so what the Arcadia Collective is, we are a tax exempt 501c3 nonprofit that is for the LGBTQ community. And we do have a venue, and we do fundraisers. And
hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
My mom. Sorry, keep going.
It's okay. And we hold fundraisers, and we've held fundraisers for people that have been in the community where they've had cancer and they couldn't pay their bills. We've done it. We've helped people with their groceries. We actually have like a huge community where people can just go in, and we have an outreach that is for people just to scream into the void, right?
It's important. Not everybody has a microphone to scream.
Mental health is so stinking important. And
if we didn't have other things to talk about, that was one of the things I was originally going to be like, I know, I want to say it was almost like 5 or 6 years now. I know you had some health stuff. I still have
health stuff.
Well, yeah, it was just kind of like, maybe
like mine's a lifelong thing. I'm taking that to the grave with me.
But mental health is part of that holistic approach to your health, not just the same sort of kind of stigma pleasure industry.
I have been off and on in therapy for 17 years, going on 18
hear that,
years.
Pokey?
Right.
It's important.
Like therapy is a good thing. Like, go vent out your problems that are not to someone that's like not your friends or your family, right? Somebody that's not going to give you like a biased judgment and just kind of be like, you know, they're actually going to be like, all right, well, let's find some coping mechanisms. Let's talk about this. Let's, you know, let's figure this out together.
Well, and then the whole concept of just being ready for that sort of help is like just a different episode. But I'm like, I'm just saying it's all connected. That could be the whole great connection.
So like my journey into mental health was, I absolutely had to. My 3-month-old, it's now going to be 18 years. But my 3-month-old daughter passed away in my arms. And that, I don't care who you are. It's absolutely horrific.
No, that I can only imagine shoves.
I don't want you to.
that shoves a perspective upon you that, I'm sure nobody wishes on anybody else.
No. And so I was drowning. Like, I felt like I was drowning. Like, and I had a daughter. I had an older daughter, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Everything was just tanking around me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go into therapy. I'm going to try it. And I've been, honestly, it was the best decision I could have ever made. I highly encourage people to like.
I think you were one of the people that was like, you go around even before it was popular. It's like, do it now because you'll wish you met that person sooner, right?
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. Like, oh yeah. Like, I strongly encourage it. Like, my kids have been in therapy, right? Like, I'm like, hey, go. Because everybody on this entire planet has issues.
But also don't stop going though, right? Like I know a lot of people in different circles where it's like they go to, the first 2 or 3 sort of sessions or, therapists, people they meet. And
you gotta want it to work, right? You gotta let it work. You gotta want, like, you gotta be open to it. And and it took me a while. Like, I'm not just gonna say like, hey, no, it took me a while, and to come up with new coping mechanisms, and even having coping mechanisms to begin with, and it's helped me for other people, right? Like my father-in-law just passed away in October.
I'm like, hey, let's catch up. This is like part of it, though. Things are happening. I am sorry that the world is balancing that way.
It was. He fought very hard. He had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and he actually survived 2 years with it, which is unheard of. Right? It's usually something very fast, and because by the time they catch it, it's too late. And they caught it, and he went into remission, and then it came back, and then it came back with a vengeance, and then it was in his liver, and it was just spreading, and he fought to the bitter end. Let me tell you, like, he did chemo up until his last 3 weeks before he passed.
Wow.
So like, I really had to and I was his main caregiver, because my husband has to work, right? And his sister has to work, and she's got kids. And I'm like, okay. And I have kids.
I'm not working, but I have a bit more flexibility.
And that's it too, right? I have a lot more flexibility than any of them. And so I said, okay. So I moved in, I moved into my now husband's and my father-in-law's house, and took care of him for really the last year and a half. And let me tell you, it was very hard. Being a caregiver for somebody that is terminal is very hard, but it's also super rewarding. Like, I didn't do it for me, and I did it for my husband and his sister, but I did it for him, right? I did it for my father-in-law, and I made sure he was
assuming you love him. So
I do. I love that man. He was great. Yeah. And you want to talk about a legend? Girl.
Sorry, my dog just got his toe stuck in my sweater.
Oh no.
And now we have a sweater pool. Okay, noted. Does not degrade a sweater when a dog's on your lap. Oh my God, baby. Pokey, I'm sorry.
No, he's so cute.
He's going to be okay. Okay, keep going with the story.
And you know, he was a legend. Like the man was he'd kind of tell me stories here and there, but to like hear him at the very end talking about like what he actually did and then finding things like after he passed as we're going through the house, like he was the vice president for Stephen Glantz Productions back in the 70s, which Stephen Glantz Productions was a huge thing in Detroit. They owned like 2 or 3 different concert venues. Like he was there when Kiss was first starting and Aerosmith, and he helped like David Bowie. Like
So
I have
awesome.
a contract here with Bob Seger's autograph. Like
hi.
it has Bob Seger on it, right?
Yeah.
Because they put on the concert because while he was doing with Stephen Glantz Productions, he was also the president of Kenner Clark Productions. So he was back teaming.
That's a lot.
And we even have a thank you, like a thank you letter, a copy of it to Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, because they ended up with the highest grossing concert at Cobo back in the 70s. I think it was like 76, 77. Somewhere around there, 74, I forgot. So it was in the 70s. But they grossed $350,000, which is a huge thing for in the 70s.
Yeah, I was like, add inflation. I'll just move zeros over to be dramatic. It's like 3.5 million. Not really.
Right.
But
like we have records with autographs of Kiss and
cool.
David Bowie and Blue Oyster Cult. And I'm like, what? And then afterwards, he was in college during this time, took a hiatus from going to school for engineering to do all these rock legend bands to go, and then he went back to school, finished his engineering, and then a friend of his was opening up a company, and he was like, okay, so he went to work with them. And he did engineering with them and logistics. And when he retired in 2022, he was the head of logistics for Exotic International Rubber Manufacturing.
Wow.
And we've got like awards and letters because he was also an inventor. He had so many patents.
Wow.
He invented, like, him and his team.
But you're just now learning these fun stories? Like, that's kind of sad. I was like, I get it. It's a different culture, but it's like, as you start to unravel this, I would have
like he would tell the kid, he would tell my husband and my sister-in-law that, like, oh, I was friends with Kiss, or I knew David Bowie. And I'm like, and they would just be like, oh, okay. Cause they're kids. So they're, and they didn't realize like the implications of what he actually did and how instrumental he was until after he passed, and we started going through like paperwork and more. And I'm like, holy patents.
Like getting more pieces of the puzzle. Wow.
Right. And I'm like, what? And as I'm going through it, I'm seeing awards and then stuff from the military because he did sales with his company to go with DOD contracts, and like this man helped with the Hercules 2 missile project.
Like, thank you so much for sharing, but also I'm frustrated in my own family space for something similar. We don't need to go down the space, but it's like, I know there's, I don't know, is a social convention to like not brag, right? But what is the correct humble brag where I'm sure you guys would have loved to hear more stories or been able to ask more questions when those things and you can't control and you never will, right? But
I spent so much time with him, and me and him got really, like, we got super close, and we just talk, like just random things out of nowhere. Like, he'd be watching something on TV and it had to do with like David Bowie's life story. And I'm like, out of all the concerts that I've gone to, that is one I wish I would have gone to. And he's like, oh, he was a great guy. And I'm like, what? Wait, you knew David Bowie? And he's like, yeah.
That's what I imagine is going to happen here someday. Somebody's going to be like, what? I dug up all these random web series things on the Singamabob and be like, oh, look at all these fabulous people from the post-pandemic age or whatever they're gonna call us.
And so I was like, wait, what? Why? And then he started talking to me about it. And I'm like, what? And then I'd go and tell my husband, and he'd be like, oh, yeah, he told me about that. But, I don't think it really like clicked until until like until it was towards the end. And he was like, okay. And then he spent a lot of time with his dad. He was very close with his dad. And, I'm like, wait, your dad worked on the Hercules 2 missile project, like nukes? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like,
no pressure to be impressive. It's all good.
Okay. And then I'd ask him, he's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, Dad, he was super humble, right? He just nonchalant, super chill, very just go with the flow type of guy. Like
I guess that is the humble
I never
brag.
even heard him like yell or raise his voice really ever.
I mean, talk about a lot of like the business ethics and everything that I'm sure rolled into your husband and yourself and everything with that. Right? I can just imagine.
I've been working on website stuff, and he'd be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm working on this website." And he's like, well, how about you do this? And I'm like, what? He's like, no, try this and try this. And I'm like, okay. All right. Cool.
Oh no. Doggos.
And so usually I'd be in my office for this, but I'm in my kitchen because we have remodeling.
I like it. I mean, my kitchen's just like right there, and we're packing. So again, show dog.
Like all of my books, we were talking about, my bookshelf, and that's all in boxes because
I know.
Actually like building a library, and like, it'll be nice once it's done. It's just got to get there, right? My son-in-law owns a construction company. And so I was like, hey.
So it's going to be super worth it. You're going to get like built in with like the ladder, maybe the backlighting, make it all gorgeous.
Yeah. Ooh, and I was like, hey, I need some work done on the house. Because this house is my father-in-law's. Like, he built this thing with his own 2 hands.
Holy moly.
And then we bought it from me and my husband. We bought it from the estate because I was like, all right, we're just going to buy it. And he's like, well, I get part of it anyway because it's inherited to me. And then I'm like, well, yeah. So we ended up just buying it and buying his sister out. Now it's ours. Yay.
Ooh, so lots of projects. Okay, well, this is just like a fun little segue as far as anything else you want to say about the Arcadia Collective?
Yeah. So like we do all sorts of So we do all sorts of things, right? And we do clothing swaps, and we do drives and fundraisers. So and you can look them up. We're on Facebook, and we're on Discord, and like we're on Google, and we're in I think somebody's working on, I think Autumn's working on our website for it, but it's the arcadiacollective.org. And we're .org, right?
Ooh, that is really fancy.
So good. I'm like,
I'll make a banner, but tell us about it. Yeah, super official. I'm proud of you guys. I mean, you should probably be proud of yourself, and I mean nothing, but I'm proud of you.
Just lots of paperwork on my end, right? Because I'm like, all the money coming in and all the money going out. Well,
the paperwork's a thing. Having been on both sides of the desk and just like in a sales brain, right? Like the good salespeople are not necessarily the brainy people that want to do paperwork, and the good paperwork people are not necessarily the people that want to go out and go do the whatever salespeopling things, right? So it's like hard to have to do both. So I see you. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's like, company, 501c3, paperwork, all the paperwork, right?
Oh, and then guess what? I did all this paperwork, and I gotta go do some more paperwork.
Right. It's the never-ending stacks of paperwork, right? Hey, thank goodness, pretty much a lot of stuff has got digital. Like, I'm trying to make it to where like all of my stuff is now digital, but yeah.
Oh, girl, me too. Again, this is an authentic show. I'm still figuring out how, and a couple of my friends have offered. It's just between I'm moving and I'm trying to just, revamp sales strategies and manifest money and do this gig. And I have, again, did I mention the family? And then the family, right? And then the dog. So I'm just like, I haven't even gotten to making my website, and I didn't even realize I needed one until people are telling me. But look, I found the website. Yay.
Yay,
So
thank
I'll
you.
post it later too. So if
I
people are
appreciate it.
looking out, and then I think I found your Facebook. And
Yeah.
someday I would be like prepared for these things. But you know, this is what we get. I was like, it's a good opportunity for you to tell the story because it's more than just a nonprofit, right?
It's a Tuesday and people, worked and it's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a safe space. It's a network of businesses and other things. Just to it's. I remember going to a conversation one time or like a lecture, and it was actually for child education, right? And maybe it was at one of the schools or something. And the concept was that information has gone up, right? With internet, and you can buy anything from China. Like you have access to just about anything, which in turn has made communities go down, right? So there's less spaces like what you're doing for people, the concept of you are what you eat, not just what you eat, but who are your friends? Are you with friends that are trying to level you up? Can you talk to other business owners if that's what your thing is, right? Or whatever. And when you don't have a community to do that, it gets harder and harder. And then we're talking to the ether.
Yeah. We do all sorts of things. Like we've helped, we've done a resume and we did resume building workshop, and we also did mock interviews, right? Like helping people with, some people they have really great resumes. They have great, but they have great writing skills. But when it comes to talking, especially when it's an interview, you can clam up, right? Sometimes
and a lot of people don't
great
realize
people can have bad interviews. And so we try to help them with that nervousness and that you help build up that confidence to give a good interview. And we also give feedback like, hey, maybe if you said this instead of this, or hey, how about try working on this type of thing, maybe talk about this, or we kind of also, go over their resume with like a fine-tooth comb of like, hey, this is relevant. Oh, because some things are, you don't think, you're part of, an organization. Oh, you're a member of this. Guess what? Put that on your resume. Like,
yeah, right. Oh, 100%. Or it's like, what did you do last year? I don't know. Survived my job. No, but really, right. And it's just having to, and sometimes I am definitely one of those people where I'm like, I got to record something. Can you just be there? Like in the screen, so I don't feel like I'm just talking to a wall or something. Like, I definitely need that sort of energy, and it's really hard when you're in a space. Maybe you haven't been taking care of your mental health. Where you're like, where do I even start with this stuff? Especially in a business, I tend to can squiggle around or whatever word a little bit easier than some of our peers in the industry because up to date, I've only really strictly for the most part been medical devices, but in a interesting, or was it an alternative sort of retail space. So sometimes I can squiggle around that way, but it's really hard. Again, it's like, how do I go talk to someone and be like, I need you to be non-judgmental about the fact that I kick ass at these A, B, and C stores that you won't admit you go into. You know what I mean?
Right. And, that's a thing, right? Like,
oh, Brandy, doing my expense report by Toriing. Those are important. So proud of you.
Are important. I know. I get it. Yeah.
Knowing the why and why expense reports are important, even if you're on the sales team.
Taxes. That's all to do about those taxes, baby.
Auditing's fun. And that's a bitch. Okay, so we're building a bookshelf. And we love the Arcadia Collective. And if anybody wants more information on the Arcadia Collective, I put the little things here. You can reach out to me. You can find Cheryl Lynn. We'll hook you up. They're over there in the Detroit area. And
we do have a GoFundMe. Like we have a constant GoFundMe, right?
Look at that.
Yeah.
So if you want to help out, we'll let you help out.
It's also on our Facebook page, right? Like you just go to the Arcadia Collective Detroit, and look it up. We're on all social medias. Like we have an Instagram, we have a Facebook, we have pretty much like.
You have a TikTok. That's the thing. Where it was like TikTok's banned, and now
I know.
And and I'm like,
I don't know if it's
more
like
into my Instagram. But then do I got to go back to TikTok? Because I get a lot more followers talking about condoms on TikTok, but then I'm like, I don't want to put stuff into the ether, if this ether is going to go away.
Right.
But
Exactly.
Also #China, which then I laugh. I'm like, have fun with all of my information. What do you do with me? She's a straight white woman that sells condoms and talks about polyamory, but like also has a very interesting search history and all these snippets of book quotes.
Right. Oh, what are they going to find about me? Oh, I own some businesses. Oh,
yeah.
I'm like video, really like I play video games. Right. Oh, okay.
Ooh, what are you playing right now?
I play Final Fantasy 14 online.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not in the Final Fantasy. I just
so it's an MMORPG. I've played like all the Final Fantasies.
I just started learning all of these acronyms. Okay. Because my husband is the gamer. We've talked about this, right? And I think our husbands have even met and like had a good time with these things. But I just started, at some point.
I love Ryan. Like, he's so great.
I know I was hoping he was going to get on. He has to work tonight. Sidebar, guys, transition give him for a minute. I will. I was like, I keep trying to convince him to be like my producer. And then he got a job he's going to be burning electrical white collar man. He's doing electrical sort of installations for audio video equipment. A lot of schools right now.
Oh, nice.
Because again, we're moving, but like we still need money because everything's expensive. So it's a good kind of temp thing, and he's learning something new. So it's scary, but I'm proud of him.
I'm proud of him too. Good job,
he was
Ryan.
Like, wait, Cheryl Lynn. And I was like, yeah.
I love him.
So maybe he'll pop on later, but he wanted to say hello to you too.
He gets all the head scratches.
So you're all Final Fantasy. So I started trying to game with the Ryan. We're in Pal World right now because my daughter really likes to play Pal World. Mm-hmm. And then what are we on? Path of Exile, the new one, but it's glitchy as F right now.
Yeah.
And I can't start or play too many things. Otherwise I get too like, for being ADHD, I have more of that like completists where it's like, I have to finish it if I start it.
The ADHD, look.
Dude, I didn't even know I had it till like almost like 2.5 years ago now. Okay.
And everybody looks like 90% of the population has it because it's the only thing that explains like half the things that people do. And I'm like,
dog,
you got the don't you? It is your fault, Kira, that I do play Final Fantasy 14. You got me into it. Like, so my friend Kira, she actually streams. She's got a stream tonight. And yeah.
Oh, congratulations. Yay, the streamers. Thank you for, I know, they're like looking, these are real people and they go to my little YouTube. I'm like, I'm working on it.
They're real people. And
I'm working on my YouTube page. At least I have one now. Yay.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Proud of you. You did a good thing.
Thank you.
Proud of you. And so I played like all the other Final Fantasies and she's like, hey, you ever played Final Fantasy? Do you play Final Fantasy 14? And I'm like, there's a 14? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, well, I figured if there was a 13 and a 15 and I never really seen anything about 14. She's like, it's online. I'm like, oh, that explains it. I'm like, well, I played like Final Fantasy 11 when it was online. She's like, it's still going. And I'm like, really? Why?
I'm proud of them. They're still going. I never really got to, I've seen like the early stuff, but again, I got into my video game phase like now as an adult. So it's like, I've seen it from afar, but what I did get into was that Final Fantasy with the Disney character. So what was that? Kingdom of Hearts.
Yep, Kingdom. Okay, so Kingdom Hearts.
That was my baby Final Fantasy introduction. And then when I've been trying to get Ryan into it, it's like we have so many other things to play. Yeah.
So MMORPG stands for multiplayer. It's multi something.
Isn't there a mass in there or something?
Yeah, mass
like,
multi.
There you go.
Mass multiplayer online role-playing game. Yeah. So yeah, like we have a guild and like I got to like a level 100 and I was like, woohoo! And she's like, okay.
That's so cool. Do you get a cool outfit? I hate when you play games. I hate when you
and then
play
they had like a whole
Diablo.
collab with a bubble tea like store that's like kind of
like boba
worldwide.
And stuff?
Yeah, it's like a boba tea place, right? And you could go there and you ordered a drink set, so you get 3 drinks, and it was like $12 for 3 drinks, which isn't bad. And
are you kidding me?
Still get
it's
3
like
drinks.
$15 for one cocktail. What are you talking about? Where do you live?
Michigan.
Going there. Michigan.
It's
Michigan,
cold.
y'all. We're
It's
going. We're going.
cold. It's like frozen tundra.
Oh, I'm gonna have to learn to winter. This is gonna be fun. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Oh,
I'll be an
that's right.
icicle in like what the next I got what 3 more streams and then I'll be icicle central. It'll be fun.
We'll have to get you like a little hat with knitted hat with like a little pom-pom.
I just realized
scarf.
The hat that goes over the ears is called a toboggan.
Yes.
Not the sled. There's a sled toboggan too, I guess.
Yes,
but really, if I
is.
went around being like, can I get a hat with flappy ears? I'm going to get laughed at. So it's a toboggan.
That's a toboggan.
I'm sure I'm going to get laughed at one way or the other. Here comes the crazy lady with the condoms. Okay. So we're playing Final Fantasy. What are we reading? Because I know you already finished Onyx Storm.
I did.
I finished it too. Kelsey, if you get on there, I'm going to text you later.
When I found out that Rebecca Yarros freaking was coming out with the Target exclusive Onyx Storm, let me tell you how fast I freaking it took off.
Did you like wait in line?
My Barnes and Noble. Oh, fuck no, I didn't wait in line.
Okay, I was like, were you like, because Kelsey said she waited in line, but like only 45 minutes.
Why would you do that? They're so much easier. Like I actually called Target.
Really?
I called my Target and was like, look, how are you guys doing Onyx Storm? She's like, I don't know. Hold on, let me ask. She's like, is it a good series? And I'm like, it's a really good series. Wait, how old are you? And she's like, I'm 18. And I said, okay, well then it's definitely for you. Do you like fantasy? Like kind of like a little bit smutty?
Well, even some of my friends that don't do fantasy are okay with this one. It's
my husband Cam wants to read it. Like, okay, cool. Here you go.
See, Ryan, dudes can read Fourth Wing too. It's fine.
Right.
I'm forcing it on him.
It's dragons. There is actual very, very, very few like
you like Game of Thrones
smutty scenes, right? It's like out of
especially
3
in this
books,
last book.
it's like 5 total, maybe like 5, maybe 6 total. Like it's more about the plot than it is the smut.
But that's the way I need my, what was it? There's a difference between the spice and the smut. That's the way I need my spice and then into smut, right? Because I won't care. I won't care if I don't know why.
Right. And then there's spice levels. There's like 1 little chili pepper and then 2, 3, it can go up to like 5, which, but yeah. No,
Kira's
it's not that bad.
Oh, she's going to help you. Thank you, friend.
And so, I'm all about the actually it was my oldest daughter that got me hooked on the freaking Fourth Wing series, the Imperial.
I like her. She's the one you brought to the Now Pack show that one time, right? Or wherever I met you in LA or something. My brain doesn't nothing has existed after pre-pandemic anymore. It's like that bitch I was like, she's still there, but I don't know her anymore. So
I didn't take her to LA, but I think it was probably like was it
the Detroit show maybe?
Probably. Yeah. And so, my oldest daughter, Ashley, she's a trip. I love her. Like you can't miss her. She looks exactly like me. I cloned myself. Right. And, so she was like, here, get into this book. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, so anyway,
and
Target, I called Target. I called my local, well, first, I called the one Target that's like a little bit further, but it's super nice, right? And I'm like, okay. I waited, I let that phone ring for probably 5 minutes. And I'm like, well, okay, no, I'm not doing this. So I tried calling them back, still no answer. Okay, fine. So I'm going to go to the next town over. Oh, have you met me?
That's stubborn. Right. Persistent, right?
So then I called the next town over and the girl's like, oh, I don't know. She's like, I'll have to let me ask my ELA on how we're handling that. And I'm like, okay. So then we actually started talking about the book series, right? And she's like, that actually sounds really good. She's like, I think I might pick up the 2 now and read them. And I'm like, right. Plus you work there. You could probably get it earlier than most fucking people. Lucky you. And she was like, yeah. And so she comes back on the phone and she's like, oh, so I talked to my ELA. She's like, and this is what she said. She said that fulfillment comes in before anybody else. in the store. So she said, do you have the Target app? I said, yes. And she said, well, it's going to go on sale at midnight Pacific time. So 3 a.m. Eastern, our time. And I said, okay. She's like, at exactly 3 a.m., you go into the app. She's like, you put how many you want. She's like, actually go in now. She's like, put it into your likes. She's like, that way, as soon as it's released, you can just go into hit the button and it'll automatically put it into your cart. And then you just keep sliding. She's like, just hit the purchase button. Okay. She's like, and then you get a choice of like, if you want to
how long
ship
did it
to you
on the slamming of the button, because I did exactly that at midnight.
16 minutes.
It took me 45 minutes.
Took me 16 minutes. I kept I just kept hitting that button over and over. And it just kept, I was doing it on my phone and I kept doing it over. And finally it was like, bam, purchase. And I'm like,
I kept seeing so many people say that they canceled their orders or like all this stuff. I was so worried.
And so I did the pickup at the store. So when I went in, it was already like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that. And I walked in
to be there. I was like, they're going to mess it up. They're going to mess it up.
And I walked in and she was like, I'm surprised you weren't here at 8 a.m. And I'm like, honey, I was up at 3 a.m. purchasing the book. If you think that I was going to get up at 8 a.m. and get 4 hours of freaking sleep.
It may or may not be one of the books holding my microphone up right now. Hold please.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's so pretty.
It's pretty.
See, I even got my dragon wing on. Huh.
Oh, that's so cute. I love the attention to detail for me. Thank you. Thank you.
I love it.
So tips on how to get our ridiculous books early. We'll be on the book club later if you want to discuss.
I get like, shipping, right? Shipping is good for like the pre-order is really great if you're going to do Barnes & Noble. If you are going with the Barnes & Noble, but if you're going through like an exclusive that's like Target or wherever, it's usually Target now.
Is it Target? I've
like
only seen Target and or
use the
Barnes.
app and like as soon as it pops in. So now, mind you, like in the US, when they say, it goes on sale at midnight, right? Unless it's an actual physical bookstore, it's not getting released at midnight. It's going to get released at midnight on Pacific time because that's where most headquarters for companies are, is out on the West Coast. Yeah. So then they go, it's Pacific time. So, Target, especially Target is like, their midnight is Pacific time. That's what midnight means, because I was like, oh, wait, 3 a.m. And I'm like, so they're going off of midnight at Pacific time.
Ooh, looks like you got called out. Usually it's the husbands.
Yes. No. So Kira and I actually went to Chicago. What was it? Was it last weekend?
Chicago. I love it.
The weekend. Yeah, Chicago. And so Chicago Symphony Orchestra teamed up with the gaming company Square Enix, and they were playing the songs, and they had the vocalists from a bunch of the Final Fantasy games that I've played because I've played them pretty much all except for like offshoots that were only available in Japan. And
that's fancy.
Yeah. So it was really cool to go see it. And I was like, it's so sweet. I got a shirt, like a little tote. I wanted a plushie. So bad and ran out of them. I was so sad. I was like, no.
We can't have any more of those here. We're moving and the dogs eat them. But I hear you.
No. Can't have, no. I'd cry. The dog ate one of my plushies. No,
oh, no. My dogs are rescue plushies on their own. I don't know. They got problems and personalities, but we love them anyways.
Cats. That's what I have. I have cats.
I wanted a cat, but everyone's allergic. Okay. I want to do my cute rapid fire question session because it's really fun for clickables.
You did ask before that. You did ask me what I was reading. And I am reading The Court of Mist and Fury that is the second book of Aktar.
That's what that's what the book talkers call it. I've been told the Akamath. Which I don't know. I don't know if book 2 or book 3 was my favorite because in my head they were kind of like the same. So you let me know.
I really liked book 1, and I'm really liking book 2, and I am really hoping that the rest of the series are just as good as this.
And then like Silver Flames, even though it's in the same series, it's its own series. So then it's like book 1 again. Okay, in my head,
right? Because I'm like, now I see like Tamlin's
Where's
tears,
Josh when
right?
you need him? He'd be like, "Ow, go read the Bible, Tori." Love him.
No.
His one of his partners has him reading ACOTAR. So I'm always like, "What?
Yay!
How's it going? How's it going, Josh Ortiz?" This is where I try to manifest
Is
him.
it
Or at least
Finley? I bet it's Finley. I bet it's
Yes,
Finley.
yes.
Yeah. I love Finley. They were
Finley,
like,
where are you
look, I
Oh my
love
goodness.
Finley.
I'm gonna
Like,
clip
I
this
was
later.
like, look, I started talking about like, Onyx Storm and Fourth Wing and like Actar, and I bought like the Throne of Glass series I haven't read yet. And I'm like, oh, my kid's like, Mom. And I'm like, what? She's like, you haven't read Actar yet? And I'm like, no. She's like, oh.
No,
And I'm like, why are you owing me? She's like,
assume-
roller coaster. And I'm like, oh, great.
In my head, if you're joining my book club, which I'll try to post my little thingy here, I assume you have read ACOTAR and Fourth Wing now. Well, because Onyx Storm was our book this week, but that's like baseline book talk. I have assumed you've read at least ACOTAR, some Fourth Wing, and or at least like a couple of Anna Huang smutty romance books, something like that, right? Or like Haunting Adeline. Like those are the assumed ones.
I have a recommendation for you.
Ooh,
if you haven't read it, it's an older book, but it's so good. It is called Kushal's Dart.
Ooh, will you send that to me later?
I will. And it's really, really good.
Really good. Oh my goodness. Really the last time somebody told me that, it was true. I fell headfirst into the Discovery of Witches series. And then she and then she came out with a new one this year. I was like, holy moly, what great timing.
Yeah. I'm all about I have so many books. Like I have the entire Witching Hour series. I have all of the Interview with the Vampire series. I have all of the Anita Vampire Hunter series, and that's a lot of freaking books.
That is a lot. I didn't realize
one took up like a whole box, and I'm like, oh,
that's beautiful.
Really had this many?
I'm restarting a collection again because I moved 10 times in 9 years one time, and then I stood put for a minute. And now I'm moving again.
And then I just found out like how you actually find like where first editions are. And I'm like, oh. So as I started like putting things away, and as I'm like putting, it's
the sprayed.
I'm like, I have a lot of freaking first editions. I didn't even know. Okay.
Well, that's cool. I don't even care if it's first. It's just if it's pretty and it looks. If my books can be decor, I'm in.
Right. I love how they're now spraying the edges and like gilding them. And so pretty. So pretty.
Obsessed. They did it right. I was talking to my sister from like a business perspective. There's like the lipstick effect where it's, during the Depression, just for any of the cheap sheets in the back or not even, right? I try to over explain myself because I'm just assuming you don't know what you don't know, right? The lipstick effect, at least the one that I'm talking about, is back in the Depression, cosmetic, because everybody's sales were super down. Cosmetic sales were of course down, but lipstick sales were through the roof because people still wanted to treat yourself, but they couldn't afford their whole skincare routine and all the other colors, but they could afford maybe one little lipstick. So to me, I'm like, they've not only do I feel like TV sex right now, so that's just good for them, but that's just me. But the fact that they've been able to take something that people, that are book buyers and have the discretionary income, were already purchasing books. But then now, of course, I'm going to spend an extra $10 for the gilded pretty one. Like in my head, I'm like, why not? It's not even money. So I'm like, they really got me, like the genius with that, like upsell lipstick.
Whoever came up with that idea and started marketing it.
Good job, art team. Good job.
All right.
Good
job.
All right. You ready?
Good job, publishing houses.
Good job. Good job, Red Tower, I think. Well, most of them, but Red Tower on that one. Okay. This is for the clickbait. Okay. If you could be transported into any fantasy novel for 24 hours, where are you going?
Oh, man. It's so
just
hard.
24 hours. You don't have to because a lot of places I'm like, I die. It's the middle of a war. So it's like, you got 24 hours. You might not die.
I'd probably go to, I mean, I don't know. I really want to say like the Fourth Wing series, but
that's not
I would die.
Right, so. Well, you could just go to the Ryerson house.
Like, it has badass, but at the same time, like
it's only 24 hours. Just go to the Ryerson house. It has a ward now. You'll be fine.
I mean, yeah.
I didn't say you had to go to.
Are we allowed to give out spoilers? I mean,
It's not really a spoiler if you read Iron Flame, right? Because that was the intention-ish
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I think it's on the back of a cover somewhere. I hope that wasn't a spoilery. Then I'm really upset at myself. Sorry, guys. Read the book so you can talk to me about
read
it.
the book.
Okay.
Right. So
What's
good.
your
So good.
What's your go-to karaoke song when you've had just the right amount of wine or just
Oh,
courage?
let's see. I'd probably say like there's probably like a few of them by like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
That's
But which
my girl.
one? Which song? Is it
Which
a little
song?
look what you made me do? Is
Oh,
it a little
God,
shake it
no.
off? Is it
Probably
it
Who's Afraid of
something to do
Little
with
Old
the
Me?
Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Viral mood. I like it.
It's kind of, that,
Yeah. Gonna do it because I have to. I'm about it. In a zombie apocalypse, what's your survival strategy?
Oh, that's easy. I'm going to go find my brothers.
But have you accounted? How are you going to travel to the brothers, right? How far are they? How are you going to get there?
I'll steal my neighbor's freaking, what the heck is it? The cyber truck. Like they just got one. And I was like, oh, okay,
like the Tesla.
cool.
Can it drive over zombies? Was that programmed? I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know, but it's got like the whole stainless steel sides, right? I know the sides.
Yeah,
They're all supposed to be like bulletproof and stuff. So I don't know.
I'll take it.
But I was like, oh, you bought one. Oh, okay. So I was like, can I come see? And he was like, sure. And I'm like, okay. Interesting. I'm like, is it actually kind of comfy? It's actually very comfy inside. I was surprised. I still wouldn't buy it, but
yeah, it's not the first time people have spent money on stupid cars, and it won't be the last.
Right, but then I'm wondering, like, if there's a zombie apocalypse and like electricity goes down, how the fuck is that thing gonna run?
Truth. You should probably add that to your risk analysis in your next safety meeting.
It just popped in my head, like, wait a minute.
Wait, my go-to survival strategy used to be I need to make a new one for the zombie apocalypse because I have moved and then I'm moving again. But back when I was living in Santa Clarita, I was like, I'm just going to hightail it to freaking Six Flags because it's all gated in already. And then I can climb up and get a good view and then make a plan. Do I know what the plan was from there? No, because I have no idea what resources I am. And that's as far as my made up plan was. But I thought it was a good plan.
Yeah, I just go to my brothers. They're hunters and they got all sorts of guns. So I'd be okay.
Yeah.
I just make them do things. Be like, protect me and love me.
I know. My plan is to get to Detroit. Find Cheryl Lynn at all costs.
I'm your sister. You have to love me, right? You don't got to like me. You just got to love me.
Fair. I
tell my
children. That's what I tell my children, but differently. I was like, you don't have to be friends with everybody, but you have to be friendly to everybody, right? Because we're in that, like, we're 11 and 7. Life is hard.
Yeah, unless
Remember when it was hard when you were young, but it was like a small world hard, and then you just keep upping the ante, and that's
Wait until you become a grandma like me, because then they're gonna.
Oh, I feel like if I earn grandma status, I'll be ready.
Oh, I didn't tell you. Like, I'm gonna be a grandma again, another boy. So my daughter Ashley's pregnant. She's gonna have another boy. So now I'll have 3 grandsons, 1 granddaughter, and I'm like, okay, are we done? She's like, no.
See, but like you've earned it. I don't know. See, grandma.
Yeah, I've earned I have earned. Like they call me.
I'm trying to wash my face better now, and then it'll be fine.
Like they don't do the grandma thing. I'm Nana, and then like my daughter's mother-in-law is Gemma, and I'm like, yeah,
that's cute.
And I'm like,
we call my mother-in-law Boppy because the oldest grandchild made the nickname, and now we don't even call her by her first name. It's just Boppy.
Boppy. Okay.
What are you gonna do? If you had to pick one person in the industry to go on The Amazing Race, right? Who are you gonna team up with?
Well, I've never actually watched it, but it has to do with running. I don't think it'd be Josh, as much as I love him.
Well, I don't think
he's already sat there and said, like, I'm not running. Like,
yeah, it's like a scavenger hunt.
Oh, it's a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, so like there are some things to run because don't you have to do it like first? I think. I don't watch it. I just watched a couple, and I just thought it would be funny to ask random people this, but maybe I'll change my thing.
It's a scavenger hunt?
Yeah, it's like a scavenger hunt, but like also there could be obstacles and maybe small running based off of what you have to get. But in my head, scavenger hunt kind of fun thing. So right, you might need brawn, you might need brain, you might need All of it.
So then, yeah, I mean, if I could have like more than one person, it'd be like Josh and then you, and I'd have Molly. I love Molly.
Oh, Molly.
I love her.
Did you see she won like
I
Ambassador of the Year? And I was
did.
like,
I'm so
finally, I'm so
happy and proud
excited
of
for her.
I was too. I was like, yay.
The rocks.
So much. I was like, haha. I'm like, there's a reason that you are, because she's my sales rep and I freaking love her. I'm like,
that rocks.
Mm-hmm. I'm like,
well, good. If you need any products we're talking about, call Molly. Right. Get all your product from Molly. Molly carries all my stuff and carries everything that Cheryl Lynn ever gets. So ta-da, done.
Oh yeah, I love her. I'm like, hey,
that's so sweet.
And then let's see, I definitely I take Helene. Let's see, yeah, I'd probably take Helene. Yeah.
Oh, I love her. I might actually get to see her when I move to that side of the Mississippi.
Yeah, because she's down that way, right?
Yeah, I can totally see you guys taking. And I think she has taking over the world someday. By the way, I think she's got family in Indian Trails over there because we were going to look.
Oh, nice.
We were going to look in that area, and then we fell in love with Cheryl's Ford.
I'm actually going to be like driving through there next month.
Ooh, I mean, I'm going to live there next month. I got to be out of this place by the 28th.
Oh, quickness.
Yeah, we'll talk later. Okay. Because I think my kids are going to get here soon. So I better wrap it up. I got 22 notifications on the family thread. I hope everything's okay. No, but this is like rocked. Again, I'm quote unquote calling it work or influence or whatever. But thanks, Kira. Steam time. See you. Fair. We're going to wrap up. We'll do the this is your moment. If there's something you want to leave us with, words of wisdom, a hex because we all suck. Shameless plug. Whatever your heart desires, the floor is yours, Miss Cheryl Lynn.
Well, I would never hex anybody because as far as I know, that crap comes back and like bops you back. No, I'm good.
That is probably a good call.
My life is enough of a roller coaster ride. I'm good.
I had enough drama. I had spoken like an earth sign. Okay, keep going.
And then let's see, I want to give out like a huge shout out to the Arcadia Collective and its volunteer board and our volunteer board of directors. Like, you guys are it, right? Couldn't do any of this without any of you. Give a shout out to my BFFs. I've got Jet Cat and I have Kira and also my friend Sky. And I'm going on a cruise next month. That's why I'm coming through your house.
Heck yes.
I'm plugging one more thing, which is King Kong Cruise. And it's my friend John St. John. And he's a voice actor for, he's done Big the Cat, Duke Nukem. He's been all over. And he does an annual. Yeah. Okay. So he does an annual cruise. And we go to the Bahamas. And we're going to be pirates at sea. And yeah, and I'm gonna go drink for a week. And Cam was supposed to.
You get to dress up like a pirate the whole time.
If I wanted to, I could.
Oh my goodness! Only if you want to.
And I'm gonna have a whole big pineapple with like rum and a little umbrella.
You're like mostly. I just get to be another version of myself for a minute.
I'm going on a pirate ship excursion to Nassau.
Like, are they? Well, I guess it's a cruise ship, so it's not. I'm like, are you sailing?
No. We're taking a cruise ship there, right? We're going on a cruise ship. But
they have
an excursion where they do like we're actually gonna board an old ass fucking pirate ship, and they have like this whole pirate performance.
Check it out.
Yeah, they have like a luncheon, and I'm gonna go chill with some, pirate sailors. Hey,
you so fancy, a luncheon.
Ooh, like
this is what success looks like. This is
when I heard this, I was like, yeah, and this is there's another reason why I'm poly. I'm gonna go ogle some,
right. Well, there's a whole other episode where we talk about how people bring that up and navigating that in a business, but also like people can't just assume that like I get that's a whole other rant, but like I get hard. Grumpy when people feel like they have to like do all the things in order to sell whatever's in their store, or that they're assumed that everything in the store is what I do. It's like it doesn't have to be that way.
No, absolutely not. You are 100% correct. No, like you don't have to do all of the things to sell the things, right?
Yeah, and if
I
you're
do the things
let us know.
Because I like to do the things, right? I am.
Oh yeah, if you want to share, feel free.
I'm really big into like the BDSM scene. Hey, and it's a thing. So I do it because I enjoy doing it. Don't do something if you're not going to enjoy it.
Well, yeah, you're a grown up with the, and I've had Josh on the show. We talked about the boundaries and the other things.
Right.
It's a lot of communication. It's not like, it's not as fun as it looks like if you're not ready to, do the vulnerable hard work with the stuff. Because then it's not, this is not gonna happen.
You got to talk. You got to have that communication. You got to have that trust. And if not, like, it's not gonna work. It's gonna go and implode, and it's gonna implode on you and explode outwards. And it's
to learn these things,
right. And I can't really say that there's, if somebody's going to cheat, they're going to cheat no matter if you're poly or if you're monogamous or if you're a swinger. Like, cheating is cheating, right?
Well, it's and it's hard when you go through something like that if you're not on the same page, and expectations and stuff get broken because
and this is why you have boundaries.
Yeah, it's things that you wouldn't want thrust upon you. That's some drama I wouldn't wish on anybody purposely, right? There's a reason. It's
also like how I feel about boundaries. It's also holding yourself accountable, right? Like, hey, somebody's going to do this thing to me.
How do you know that at 18?
What is?
Yeah, where it's like, oh, I'm poly, I don't believe in. I was like, okay, this is gonna sound judgy. I'm sorry, ether internet. This is just my side of my opinion, judgy. But I'm like, if anyone tells me they're poly and they're not over 30, at least like 35, 30, I'm like, you're really not poly. Like, I didn't know how to communicate half the things about anything.
I know plenty of 20-year-olds that do it very well. I know plenty of 20-year-olds that do it, like, what is it? That's like Gen Z, right? Am I saying that?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
So Gen Z have got like that whole boundary thing. Like, hey, they got that thing going on. I got teenagers, right?
See, and
like,
this is me being judgmental because I don't know what I know.
My kids range from 29 down to 12. That's a big range.
You've seen it all in every generation.
29, 22, 14, and 12, right? Like,
how fun though.
It is. And
now
my grandkids are 14, 12, and then 2 and 1 on the way. Hey. So it's like, okay. Which is funny because my grandkids and my kids go to the same school. So technically, they're supposed to be like aunt, uncle, like aunt, nephew.
No wonder you're a kink dream. And you're a redhead?
This has died, honey.
It doesn't matter.
No, I know. It's fake, and that's okay because I don't like all of I'm not getting gray hair. It's coming in white. Like, we are talking white. And I was like,
you know what? You got to rock your armor the way that you want to.
And I've been a redhead forever.
Yeah, I was like, I think I've only known you as a redhead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go pink during the summer because it's pink, right? I love pink.
Cute, yeah.
I love pink. Anything pink, and it's my favorite color. But red, no, it's my signature color, and it looks good on me. So
if it's not broke, don't fix it. If it's still happy, if it's still servicing you, great. When it's not, don't do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, like I said, my online like my website for my business for Naughty Time is down because I'm revamping the whole thing.
Ooh, fun, but also
not really.
Yeah, because it's like you're like, I'm not making money and I have to like revamp all this stuff, and who has the time? Yeah,
it's a thing, right? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I'll put it out into the ether, right? Naughty Time Novelties, maybe.
So it'd be ntnmi.com. That is so it's going to come up as it is a nothing right now because it's in the void and because it is completely. I'm going with like a whole new like web server, I think so.
Okay. Well, hey, maybe there's people out there. There's a lot of people looking for,
especially that's in our industry.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's very hard
right now.
Find a web hosting company, that will allow
it's not
adults.
Like, here's my blanket, all the things and blah, blah, blah. That's another great topic. Okay. Well, hey, we can hook up later. There might be people out there that I know that might be willing to like at least point you in the right direction. Because this is the show about networking.
Right. Hey, get a hold of me. Most of everybody on like
I know what is
our industry like has me on Facebook or
that's awesome.
If not, I don't know why they don't.
Right?
I'm funny.
Well, okay, if you don't have her on your Facebook, we'll figure
I'm
that
kind
out.
of crazy. Like I'm
That's
funny.
a good crazy.
Right? Like I post up
Right?
some crazy ass shit where I'm just like, okay. People
You
are
know
like,
what?
wait,
To me,
what?
it's a good crazy. We'll just keep sending book recs
I'm
and
just
memes,
funny.
and we'll just keep our business. We're just going to keep in our business. Keep going for now.
Like my daughter's like, Mom, you really just you need to write a book. And I'm like, oh, but that's more work. She's like, do it. I'm like,
It's not
oh.
time yet. I mean, maybe write the snippets, but if it's not time, it's not time.
Like I mean, I kind of like have like a thing, and she's like, Mom, you need to like seriously like write it and like
See, I don't
publish
know how
it.
far you are, but like if you already have like a lot of snippets that get somewhere, then yeah, maybe you need to sit down and write it.
Yeah. Let you read it. Be my Tori, be my editor.
You're not the first person to tell me that they either thought or they dreamed that like I'm an editor. I'm like, wow.
I could see you doing that though.
I don't know what I don't know.
If you ever get out of the alt industry, which everybody would be super sad and cry over, especially me. I mean, that's a job, that maybe I could see you doing.
I don't know
could
that
see
they
you
would
being
take
an
me though.
editor.
We'll see. We'll see. I
Why
can
wouldn't they?
manifest this. We'll do both. I don't know. Start
Well, there you
editing
go.
everybody here in the industry's books just because it's
I
fun.
mean, I could see you as an editor. Definitely.
Aw,
Like,
thanks. I gotta
oh yeah.
put my cute glasses on and be like, all right, editor Tori time.
Yeah.
Although, did you see, maybe you didn't see my quick shameless plug right now. I had like a rant about how to have like tough conversations because I was like feeling kind of like a lot of our retail employees don't get the same. I'm just going to call it brainwashing that I got as far as like how to talk to people on the sales floor. Cause I worked for a very, very large company. I worked for the Limited. So everything was already like planned for you. And so just like, 25 years later, I'm like, wow, it's interesting that that's not a baseline for people. Right. Nope. So I had a rant and I took it out on the computer and I sent it to Ariana at Expo like in October, November. And she just told me they published it. I was like, So
congratulations.
It was like, here's to the year where
think about it. You wrote an article.
I did.
You did.
I'm
so proud of you.
The point
you
was
did
that
a
I
thing.
was like, I did it and then like didn't think about it. The same with like editing these clips. I just like got a little clown there to send stuff out because if I sit here, I'm like, I'm so sick of myself. So here's to the year where we just send stuff into the ether and it's going to stick or it's not going to stick. It's not the best strategy I've ever come out with, but this is the one that I can handle this year.
Well, you know what? Don't overwork yourself. Don't overload yourself because
you neither.
Never good. Oh,
it's never good. And then the good stuff, the good work doesn't happen. And then
I will go until I can't anymore, and then I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna die.
I'm a little done with going until I can't
anymore. I'll like be like Cam, and he's like, yep. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, and then I call it the docking station. Then I have to.
And then my daughter will like yell at me. She's like, "Mom, why'd you do that?" And I'm like, "Cause I'm dumb." Okay. She's like, "No, just why?" And I'm like,
My oldest is 11. I'm already dumb, but yeah, we'll be there. I hope we like, have a good relationships.
Yeah, like if I have a great relationship with my kids. Like I love them and they love me, like I honestly, I couldn't have made it this far in my life without my kids or my husband because I'd be dead. I'd be like, okay, I'm done. I'm over this. I'm not doing this no more.
I don't think most humans are meant to be alone. I hear you. I hear you there.
Well, I've had a couple of surgeries the past couple of years, done all these things. And I'm
just a couple of not like little surgeries, major ones. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Not like, I had a surgery. Okay. Again, that's another episode. We got to write our own blog or something here.
We really
magic
should.
Notebook where I write to you and then you write back in the magic notebook, like old time. And we could say things like, Miss Cheryl Lynn. The day.
Oh, you mean like Freya
and day continues.
Yeah, like Freya and Rise. Yeah.
That would be so cute.
I started getting into that, and I was like, oh, well, that would be handy.
The witty banter,
right? The witty banter and the jellified.
Oh, I gotta get you. You gotta read When the Moon Hatched soon later because parchment marks, or we'll send stuff later. Okay. I gotta log off. This has been so fun, but now it's the time. I gotta do other adulting. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Cheryl Lynn, for coming. It's Tuesdays.
I love you.
Thank you. I try to go live around 5-ish, wherever I end up being, but things could change. And mostly I try to stream here. It's excuse me, on that PP3P3 PPP page.
PPP.
Yeah, but I have a YouTube. It's at Tuesdays with Tori Tia or Tuesdays with Tori Show, because apparently I have 2 YouTubes and I didn't know that until just today. And you can find me on Instagram on at Tori Tia. So we're going to do the things and stay tuned. Thank you. Oh, look. Hey, thanks, Katie. It was fun. Thank you for being here.